मैं डॉक्टर नीलम गुप्ता बीएससी पार्ट 3 पेपर 1 क्वांटम मैकेनिक्स यूनिट 1 का अगला चैप्टर आज हम पढ़ाने के लिए उपस्थित हैं। पिछली क्लास में हमने पढ़ा था कि कॉम्पटन प्रभाव किसे कहते हैं तथा कॉम्पटन प्रभाव को क्लासिकल मैकेनिक्स क्यों नहीं समझा पाई, क्वांटम मैकेनिक्स ने किस प्रकार कॉम्पटन प्रभाव का एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया। आज हम कंसीडर करेंगे कि कॉम्पटन स्कैटरिंग की थियरी की काइनेमेटिक्स क्या है, अर्थात किस प्रकार से जब एक्स रे हमारी किसी मुक्त इलेक्ट्रॉन के साथ टक्कर करती है तो टकराने के पश्चात स्कैटर्ड एक्स रे की वेवलेंथ इंसिडेंट एक्स रे की वेवलेंथ से ज़्यादा कितनी होती है। इस कॉम्पटन शिफ्ट को हम किस प्रकार से निकाल सकते हैं। जैसा कि बच्चों ये चित्र में दिखाया गया है, यह मान लो हमारे पास एक कोई आपतित एक्स किरण है, इंसिडेंट फोटोन है, जो कि किसी मुक्त इलेक्ट्रॉन जो स्थिर अवस्था में विरामावस्था में रखा हुआ है। विरामावस्था में फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन कैसे पॉसिबल है? दैट मीन्स हमने कोई भी एक एटम कंसीडर किया, उसमें इलेक्ट्रॉन जो है वो बहुत लूजली बाउंड है, सो दैट वेरी लूजली बाउंड इलेक्ट्रॉन इज कंसीडर्ड एज अ फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन। इंसिडेंट फोटोन एंड फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन के बीच में कोलिजन हो रही है। आफ्टर कोलिजन इंसिडेंट फोटोन स्कैटरिंग होकर स्कैटर्ड फोटोन के रूप में इंसिडेंट फोटोन की डायरेक्शन के साथ फाई कोण बनाकर इस दिशा में निकल जाता है तथा जो इलेक्ट्रॉन विरामावस्था में था वो इंसिडेंट फोटोन से कुछ ऊर्जा का ग्रहण करके प्रतिक्षिप्त इलेक्ट्रॉन के रूप में प्रारंभिक फोटोन की दिशा के साथ थीटा कोण बनाता हुआ, जैसा मैंने इस चित्र में दिखाया है, इस दिशा में निकल जाता है। अब हम इसकी आगे की काइनेटिक थियरी को कंसीडर करेंगे। तो हमने कंसीडर किया कि हमारे पास जो इंसिडेंट फोटोन था, जब इलेक्ट्रॉन और फोटोन को हमने दो कणों की भांति टक्कर को कंसीडर किया तो हमारे पास इंसिडेंट फोटोन की एनर्जी कितनी है? इंसिडेंट फोटोन की एनर्जी h न्यू है। जो इलेक्ट्रॉन हमारा विरामावस्था में हमने कंसीडर किया है उसकी ऊर्जा कितनी है? m0 c²। उसी प्रकार से यदि मान लो हम यहाँ कंसीडर करें तो m0 हमारे पास क्या होगा? इट इज द रेस्ट मास ऑफ द इलेक्ट्रॉन। When the incident photon has the energy h nu, the momentum of that incident photon should be equal to h nu upon c. But when the electron is at the rest position, the momentum of the electron is equal to 0 because the electron is at the rest position. This is the situation of electron as well as incident photon before collision. What will happen after collision? The energy of the scattered photon is, say for example, h nu dash, and the momentum of the scattered photon is also equal to h nu dash upon c, and the energy of the recoil electron is mc², and the momentum of recoil electron is mv, as v is the velocity of electron after collision. Total energy of the electron after collision is considered as mv². This is including the rest mass energy of the electron. Here this m is the mass of electron in the moving condition, so m is equal to m0 under the root 1 minus v² upon c². As we consider this phenomenon as a collision between the two particles, so we should consider the conservation of energy as well as the conservation of momentum over here. So the energy before collision should be equal to energy after collision according to conservation of energy law. So the energy of the system means incident photon means x-rays or electron before collision should be equal to energy of the system after collision. As we already told that the energy of the incident photon is h nu and the rest mass energy is of the electron is m0 c². So the total energy of the system before collision is equal to h nu plus m0 c². This must be equal to the total energy of the system after collision. After collision, the energy of the scattered photon is h nu dash, or the energy of recoil electron is mc square. So the total energy of the system after collision will be equal to h nu dash plus mc square. So by rearranging the terms, we can write down that mc square is equal to h nu minus nu dash plus m naught c square. This is represented by equation number 1. Now again, by applying the principle of conservation of momentum. But as we know, the momentum is a vector quantity, or before collision the phenomenon is only one dimensional, but after collision the phenomenon is observed in a plane. So initially we will consider that the momentum of the system before collision only along the x direction, as in the x direction the electron is initially at the rest position, so there is no component of momentum for the free electron along the x-axis, but the component of momentum along the x-axis of the incident photon will be equal to h nu upon c. As this is already discussed, what is the momentum of the incident photon? So directly we can write down here h nu upon c is equal to h nu dash upon c cos phi along the x-axis. This is the component of momentum of the scattered photon along the x-axis. As the scattered photon makes an angle phi with the direction of the incident photon, or this mv cos theta is the component of momentum of free electron along the x-axis. But now after collision this electron is not a free electron. So mv cos theta is the component of momentum of recoil electron. Again, by rearranging the terms, mv c will be multiplied with this component. So this is equal to mv c cos theta is equal to, you can observe, we will take the term from right hand side to left hand side. So this is equal to h nu minus h nu dash cos phi. Now we consider the momentum along the y direction, but there is no component of momentum along the y direction of the incident photon as well as free electron before collision. So the component of momentum along the y direction of the system is equal to 0. In the right hand side direction it is equal to h nu dash upon c sin phi, plus why we put the negative sign over here? Because the component of momentum along the y direction is opposite to the component of momentum along the scattered photon. So we will put the negative sign over here. So minus of mv sin theta. Again, by rearranging the terms, we will get mvc sin theta is equal to h nu dash sin phi. Now this we will do the squaring and adding the equation. So equation number 2 as well as equation number 3. If you can observe here, this square of this term is m square v square c square cos square theta, and here this is m square v square c square sin square theta. So m square v square c square we can take common out within the bracket sin square theta plus cos square theta. So directly I can write down here over, or the right hand side term is also squaring and then adding. So by squaring and adding we will get m square v square c square is equal to h square within the bracket nu square plus nu dash square minus 2 nu dash cos phi. It is shown by equation number 4. Once we again observe the equation number 1 is mc square is equal to h nu minus nu dash plus m naught c square. We will also squaring this term, so we will get m square c4 is equal to h square nu square plus nu dash square minus 2 nu dash plus 2h m naught c square nu minus nu dash plus m naught square c4. This is represented by equation number 5. Now equation number 4 is subtracted from equation number 5 and we will get m square c square into c square minus v square is equal to 2h square nu dash cos phi minus 1 plus 2h nu minus nu dash m naught c square plus m naught square c4. As we know, m is equal to m naught upon under the root 1 minus v square upon c square. So m square is equal to m naught square into 1 minus v square upon c square. We will substitute the value of m square over here. So the left hand side is m naught square c square into c square minus v square upon 1 minus v square upon c square, and the right hand side terms remains as it is. In the left hand side we will take c square common, so it will become m naught square c4. This term will be cancelled out, the remaining this term. So this is equal to, again the right hand side remains as such. Or finally again by rearranging the terms, we can write down 2h nu minus nu dash m naught c square is equal to minus 2h square nu dash. Here we have put the cos phi minus 1. By taking the minus sign common, we can write down minus of, not common, we will take the term in the right hand side, left hand side from the right hand side. So minus 2h square nu dash cos phi minus 1. This m naught square c4 will be cancelled out with this m naught square c4. So nu minus nu dash upon nu dash is equal to h upon m naught c square into 1 minus cos phi, or 1 upon nu dash minus 1 upon nu is equal to h upon m naught c square into 1 minus cos phi. This is equation number 6. This expression gives the change in frequency of the scattered photon as, right hand side of this equation number 6, h is a Planck constant, m naught is the rest mass, c is the velocity of light. All terms are positive. So we can say the right hand side of this equation number 6 is always positive. If we consider phi is equal to 0, this is equal to 1, so the term is again positive. If we put phi is equal to 180, then cos phi is equal to minus 1, again this is a positive term. So ultimately the right hand side of this equation number 6 is positive. That means our nu is always greater than nu dash. That means the frequency of the incident radiations means the frequency of the incident photon is greater than the frequency of the scattered photon. If we write this equation in terms of the wavelength, we can write down, as we know, the wavelength lambda is equal to c upon nu. So in equation number 6 we will substitute that lambda dash upon c minus lambda upon c is equal to h upon m naught square, m naught c square into 1 minus cos phi, or lambda dash minus lambda is equal to delta lambda is equal to h upon m naught c into 1 minus cos phi. This is represented by equation number 7. This expression gives the change in wavelength of the scattered photon and the indicate that lambda dash is greater than lambda. What is the meaning that lambda dash is greater than lambda? That means the wavelength of the scattered photon is always greater than the wavelength of the incident photon. This change in the wavelength is known as Compton wavelength, or it is also known as Compton shift. But we observe that this Compton wavelength is independent of the incident frequency as well as the nature of the scattered, but it only depend upon the scattering angle phi. So we will slightly discuss about the scattering angle phi. Say for example, if we consider that the scattering angle is phi, that means after collision the scattered photon moves perpendicularly to the direction of the incident photon, as phi is equal to 90 degree, cos phi is equal to 0. In that case, lambda dash minus lambda is equal to h upon m naught c into 1 minus cos phi, as cos phi is equal to 0, so this is equal to h upon m naught c. So this Compton shift is equal to, when we substitute the value of Planck constant, rest mass of the electron as well as the speed of light, this is equal to 0.02426 angstrom. The term h upon m naught c, which is equal to 0.02426 angstrom, is constant and is called the Compton wavelength of the electron, or sometimes, or normally it is denoted by lambda c. This is known as the Compton shift. If we consider that phi is equal to 0, cos phi is 1, then delta lambda is equal to 0. It means when this scattering angle phi is equal to 0, then there is no Compton shift found in the Compton experiment. If phi is equal to 180 degree, then cos phi is equal to minus 1. In that case, your Compton shift delta lambda will be equal to 2h upon m naught c. it is equal to 0.048 angstrom. So this is the highest Compton shift when the scattering angle is 180 degree. When the particle is in the backward direction, then the scattering Compton shift will be the maximum. In this diagram, we are showing the variation of Compton shift with respect to scattering angle phi. Initially, when we consider that the delta lambda upon lambda c along the y-axis or scattering angle along the x-axis. So, as we consider that phi is equal to 0, when we consider phi is equal to 0, then this is equal to delta lambda upon lambda c is also equal to 0. When we consider phi is equal to pi by 2, this is equal to delta lambda upon lambda c is equal to 1, or when we consider phi is equal to 180 degree, this is equal to delta lambda upon lambda c is equal to 2. So this is the variation of the scattering angle versus delta lambda upon lambda c. In the next class, we will consider what is the energy or what is the direction of the recoil electron. So for today, it's all. Thank you.